Welcome back, everybody, to Zlatan's Fight Picks. Thank you for joining me again today. Today we're going to go over the fight picks for this week's card for UFC 298, Volkanovski versus Topuria. So we will go over, as usual, from the first fight of the night to the main event. So let's start. All right. What do we got here? Andrea Lee versus Miranda Maverick. At least I think this is the order. I mean, it seemed like that's what I got. Yeah, I think this is the first fight. It's kind of weird how they'd be the first fight. I thought maybe the Elliott and the Woodburn might be the first fight. But that's the order I got here, but it'll be close to the first fight. Andrea Lee versus Miranda Maverick. Andrea Lee, 5'6", 69.5-inch reach, 13 wins, 8 losses, 34 years old. Miranda Maverick, 5'3", 65.5-inch reach, 14 wins, 5 losses, 26 years old. Miranda Maverick is the favorite on this one. Miranda Maverick, again, I have a problem with these fighters that are so short and so stocky because it seems like they need a certain type of opponent to win. She is the favorite. Everyone's considering her to be stronger, more powerful. She's a good wrestler. You know, you put her up against a bigger girl, and I think she had a real problem with Jasmine Jasdavicius, and I had a bet on Maverick, and she was utterly disappointing in that. I think she doesn't have a good reach advantage. She was getting tagged up on the feet. She couldn't get it to the ground. The girl was too big, and she was too strong. She kept going on the bottom position, getting pounded, trying to go for submissions, but she couldn't do it. But people are really high on Maverick, and I don't know why. So Andrea Lee, you know, she has had a lot of decisions go against her, and maybe it's her fighting style. But overall, she's tall, she's lanky, she's a decent striker. She could take girls down. She's better on top than on her back. And she's got good, I don't know, I think she's got pretty good takedown defense. She has been taken down, but she has gotten back up. She's got a good get-up game. She's 34 years old. I don't think she's over the hill yet. I think she had like a bad loss last time against Silva, who's just a really good fighter who's going to possibly be the champ one day. So, and I think she's had some good competitive fights with some top fighters. She's got the way better experience. She's a plus 170 underdog. You know, I think she's going to win this. I think she had a bad loss last time. I think she's going to come back. I don't think she's washed up. And I do think she might have slowed down. But, I mean, I just don't have I don't think Miranda Maverick has got like a high ceiling in this division. Yeah, I just don't see it. Like I said, I had a bet on her against Jasdavicius just because I had questions about Jasdavicius, and Jasdavicius just beat the crap out of her, and it was a terrible, terrible fight. And then she came back and she won against Cachoeira. But I mean, she's wrestling heavy, you know, attack, and Cachoeira is susceptible to wrestling heavy attacks. So yeah. I think Andrea Lee, she's a plus 170. I don't know how you won't be able to take her. You know, I got a mid-range confidence in this. Like, I'd be surprised if Andrea Lee doesn't win this. But unfortunately, Andrea Lee does come down to these bad decisions where she always seems to lose just by a little bit. I hope that's not the case here. But I think she should win this. Moving on. Oban Elliott versus Val Woodburn. Oban Elliott, 6 feet tall, 72-inch reach, 9 wins, 2 losses, 26 years old. Val Woodburn, 5'8", 74-inch reach, 7 wins, 1 loss, 30 years old. Val Woodburn, I mean, short, really long arms. He's going down to this weight class. I think it's light heavy. Is it light heavy, or is it welterweight? Sorry. So yeah. Welterweight, he's there's not a lot of, you don't see, like, I mean, he doesn't have a lot of good opponents. If you go back into his tape, he doesn't have a lot of good opponents. He's won quite a few fights, and yes, he's beaten people, and he's really strong, he's really powerful. You know, he throws some big punches, but I mean, his level of competition is not good. Most of these guys got losing records. He comes in at the last minute and he fights Bo Nickel and he gets KO'd. I mean, as expected, he was the last minute guy. And I don't even think he's actually UFC level. So I think he's the guy who took the contract to fight Bo Nickel at the last minute, up a weight class. So I don't have a lot of confidence in him. Oban Elliott, I mean, he's new. So he's only fought on the Contender Series. He had a really good back and forth. I think he won the first round, and I think he got destroyed in the second round, and then he came back to win the third round. That was the guy gassed. He showed an unbelievable chin, so you know the guy can take a punch, and he fights through it. Definitely got a heart of a champion. You know, I saw him get beat up, and he could have quit, but he didn't, and he was hurt quite a bit, and then he managed to survive. And looking at his competition, he's got a much better level of competition. And the guy he beat on the Contender Series, which was, his last name was Brito. I think it's Kai Brito or something like that. That guy's actually really good. Everyone expected that guy to win. I think Elliott was the underdog in that one. And remember, that guy, Brito, had fought Robert Bryczek, who just fought Topuria, and he knocked out Bryczek in a previous match before the UFC. So he was no slouch, he was no joke. So for Elliott to beat that guy, that says a lot, because that guy was a really good striker. So I'm fairly confident that Elliott, and again, I'm confident, but on my board he's lower on my I haven't got him on the super confidence side, just because it's his first fight, it's his debut in the UFC. Woodburn's already got that out of the way and got KO'd, so he might not be as nervous. So he can only move up from there, right? So anyways, Oban Elliott's going to be the pick. You know, mid-level confidence. He should be able to get this done. Woodburn, there's too many question marks. I mean, he could come around and he could be the real deal. We don't even know, actually. But I have seen Elliott fight. This is why I've got this kind of mid to low level confidence with Elliott, just because we don't know a lot about Woodburn. But Elliott, he's the real deal. Maybe not a superstar, but he's UFC level. Moving on, Josh Quinlan versus Danny Barlow. Josh Quinlan, 6 feet tall, 72-inch reach, 6 wins, 1 loss, 31 years old. Danny Barlow, 6'2", 79-inch reach, 7 wins, 0 losses, 28 years old. I haven't been able to get Quinlan right. When he came in, I bet against him. He knocked out Witt. Then I bet for him, and then Waters just dominated the fight and beat the crap out of him from distance. Waters is 6'5". So I think we're going to see roughly about the same thing. You got Danny Barlow coming in. This is his debut. I mean, it's Quinlan's third fight. He's taking it at the last minute. Barlow was supposed to fight Kinoshita, and Quinlan's kind of jumped in. So here's the thing: is I think this is going to be almost the same fight as Waters. Barlow, taller, he's got a 7-inch reach advantage. Quinlan's going to have a hard time closing the distance. Quinlan needs to get those power shots off. He's got supposedly like some good BJJ, and he's having a hard time taking guys to the ground. Last fight, he had a hard time taking Waters to the ground. He was taking a lot of shots and he was coming in. I think Barlow's got that straight left. He's always looking to land it. It's very powerful, and it comes in from far away. You know, pretty good takedown defense. He's got a good get-up game. I don't know. I don't see Quinlan winning this. Mind you, I haven't really been good at picking Quinlan, because I pick against him, he wins. I pick for him, he loses. But looking at Danny Barlow, he seems really dangerous with his left hand. He's got a 7-inch reach advantage. And I saw Quinlan have a huge problem with Waters, who is 6'5", but his reach was actually not even 79 inches. It was a little less. So it's his debut for Barlow. So, you know, I've got him on low end on the confidence scale, but he should be able to beat Quinlan. He might even be able to get him out of there, although Quinlan's very tough and very durable. I think he's just going to get beaten up and lose a decision. Moving on. Let's go here. Okay, so I think those are the early prelims. Now these are the prelims. Yeah, I'm pretty sure those are the early prelims. Moving on to Zhang Miang versus Brendan Viberio. Zhang Yang, 6'2", 75-inch reach, 16 wins, 6 losses, 25 years old. Brenson Viberio, 6'3", 81-inch reach, 15 wins, 5 losses, 27 years old. We'll start with Brenson Viberio. He came in as a plus 460 underdog in his contender series, and he managed to take the guy out and win the fight. And the guy he was fighting was undefeated, was highly touted, and everyone expected him to win. Expected him to be, he's a UFC level guy. But Viverio stood in the pocket, exchanged punches. The other guy was landing punches on him. And Viverio got the better of him and eventually KO'd him. He's got a huge reach, 81-inch reach. I've seen him on the ground. He can get back up. I don't think he doesn't like to fight on the ground. He can take people down. He can get up. So he's very well rounded. I think he's got a really good level of competition in Brazil. Zhang Mingyang, I like his name. He's tall. He's got a lot less reach advantage. He's going to be at a deficit. And I had question marks about his level of opponents, in China. So, and I've always got these question marks. But I saw him fight against a guy, and granted it's in the Road to Contender series in Asia, and I always have question marks about who's really good. And the guy he fought is from the US, but you wonder why he's in Asia fighting in the road to the UFC. Maybe because it's less competition. So Zhang Yang fights this guy, and man, he can land some punches. He's got a hard punch, but really impressed me about Zhang Yang is the amount of punches he absorbed from the other guy, and it was clean shots, powerful shots. He used to fight at heavyweight. Now he's at light heavyweight. The guy just walked right through those shots like they were nothing and returned and knocked the guy out. Looking at this fight, I saw how Bredson Viberio reacted to some of the power shots himself in his contender series, and I'm going to go with Zhang Yang, and they're both dangerous. I just think Zhang Yang's got a really good chin. I think Viberio is going to land on him, and I don't think he can knock him out. I think he'll be able to absorb it, where I think if Miang Yang hits Viberio, I don't think he's going to react as well. So I'm going to go with the guy with what seems like to be a granite chin, Zhang Yang, 25 years old, from China, big guy, powerful, super good chin. I think Viberio is good. I think he's going to be able to knock out a lot of guys. He's got a huge reach. He's powerful. But this Zhang Yang, when I saw him on that fight, I couldn't believe the punches he was walking through. Like, this guy's got a really good chin. He's going to be the pick for this fight just because of his chin. It's going to be a war. Someone's getting KO'd. I don't think this is going past the first round. I mean, why would it? So I don't think either one of them want to go past the first round, especially for Zhang. Like, this guy just wants to go to war. I like this guy. This is going to be a really good fight. Looking forward to it. So yeah, Zhang Miang, first round KO. So that's what I'm going to go with. I should have gone with the other predictions too, but no. And Andrea Lee by decision. Moving on. Rinya Nakamura versus Carlos Vera. Rinya Nakamura, 5'7", 68.5-inch reach, 8 wins, 0 losses, 0 draws, 28 years old. Carlos Vera, 5'6", 69.5-inch reach, 11 wins, 3 losses, 36 years old. Okay, Nakamura, we know he could strike. He's a really good striker. He's a good wrestler. He's got good top control. He does position over submission. So he's just going to grind you out, try to get the sub, trying to pound you out, but he's not going to lose top control. He likes it there. He's also a really good striker. Carlos Vera, you know, he's obviously fought at a lower level in this is his first fight in the UFC. It almost seems like he's 36 years old. He's good on the ground. Nakamura needed somebody to fight, so they called Vera, and Vera, of course, is going to say yes. 36 years old. This is his shot at the UFC. He's obviously not UFC level, but that doesn't mean he's not good. I've actually watched his fights. He's actually pretty good. He's got some interesting wheel kicks. He's got interesting strikes. He doesn't take a lot of damage on the feet. I think he's fairly durable as well, but he's got good movement on the feet. Much lower level of competition. And on the ground, he's very dangerous. He's very tricky on the ground. He's at a really good BJJ gym. He's very dangerous. Rinya Nakamura should win this fight. He's a minus 1,300 favorite. Carlos Vera is plus 750. Nakamura, I put on my most confident pick to win this fight. But I would never bet on Nakamura, not at minus 1,300. Your better bet is probably on Vera as a long shot. So I don't know if I would directly bet on him even, but if you create a parlay and you throw Vera in there on a small bet, it'll compound it. So anyways, Nakamura is obviously going to win this fight, but there's a part of me that says at plus 750, you could put a sprinkle on Vera, because at the end of the day, this guy is dangerous on the ground and anything can happen. He's actually really good on the ground. And I'm not saying that he's the best on the ground, but in the divisions he was fighting, in the leagues he was fighting, he was really good. Now, is that UFC level good? No. But can he possibly, by chance, be on the ground and catch Nakamura? It's not impossible. And at plus 750, is it probable? No. Is it impossible? No, it's not impossible. But Nakamura is going to be the pick. He's obviously expected to win this. They lined up a guy he can beat. But just the abilities of Vera give him a window to win. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I'm going to either look really stupid or like a genius, because this guy has a chance to win. There is a path to victory for Vera. Thinking about, you could sprinkle some stuff and if he's going to win, it's going to be by submission. I don't think he's going to catch Nakamura with a wheel kick. I think it's going to be by some weird submission that he manages to grab that Nakamura can't fight out of. But Nakamura is very powerful. He's going to be the stronger guy in there, and you're expecting him to fight out of it. But there is a chance that Vera could sub him. That's his path to victory. So, look at it how you want to, but Nakamura is going to be the pick. But at plus 750, man, you got to look at Vera, right? You got to look at something with Vera anyways. Nakamura is the pick anyways, but there's some stuff that I've just been mulling over. And that's a big question mark right there. Moving on. Marcos Rogerio de Lima versus Justin Tafa. Marcos Rogerio de Lima, 6'1", 75-inch reach, 12 wins, 10 losses, 1 draw, 38 years old. Justin Tafa, 6 feet tall, 74-inch reach, 7 wins, 3 losses, 30 years old. Marcos Rogerio de Lima should win this fight, but he's 38 years old. His durability is in question. I remember him fighting Lewis, and he was the favorite. And I said, why are you guys betting against Lewis? And Lewis came in, did a flying knee, and apparently almost knocked all his teeth out, and he KO'd him right off the bat. Marcos Rogerio de Lima is definitely a good fighter. 38 years old, he just came off a bad KO. That's the only question marks here. If those aren't the question marks, he beats Tafa. But those are the question marks, because Tafa, he's young, he's big, he's strong, and he's got fast hands. He's not the best fighter, but his hands are fast. He's lost against big, durable guys who just managed to outland them from the outside. He doesn't get taken down. He's never been taken down. So now you got Marcos Rogerio de Lima, who does throw bombs, but his game is to take you down and control you and win rounds. And he does. And to his credit, he's taken down, he's taken down guys that are hard to take down. Has he taken down repeatedly? No. Sometimes he'll get one takedown or two takedowns. And Justin Tafa is tough to take down. But also, Justin Tafa has not fought the level of opponents that Rogerio has fought. Not at all. He hasn't reached that level. So we don't know how he's going to react at that level. Rogerio de Lima has fought these high-level opponents and he's managed to take them down. So again, Justin Tafa hasn't been taken down. Marcos Rogerio de Lima has taken down high-level opponents. Not repeatedly, but at least once, most of them. So it's going to be a battle. Can Justin Tafa catch him with an uppercut as he's coming in or something like that and KO de Lima? De Lima is durable. But again, 38 just came off a bad knockout. There's going to be a lot of question marks on that. But, I mean, if you overlook those things, de Lima should beat Tafa, and he is the favorite for a reason. My pick is going to be de Lima. Very low confidence just because he's 38 and a half years old. He just came off a bad KO. Those are my question marks. Justin Tafa, he's been getting better. He has lost some fights against low-level opponents, but I think he's a much better fighter now. He's fast. He's quick with his hands anyways. And he seems like he's got good takedown defense. That's going to be tested now with de Lima, who's very powerful with his takedowns. Rogerio is going to be the pick. De Lima, we'll see how he looks like. He is the better fighter. I got to go with him. But you never know, right? These are heavyweights. Anything can happen. People get KO'd. De Lima's gotten KO'd. Tafa's dished out KOs. Tafa's never been KO'd. I don't see a KO on Tafa. I think Tafa getting ground out. And de Lima by decision. Moving on. Amanda Lemos versus Mackenzie Dern. Amanda Lemos, 5'4", 65-inch reach, 13 wins, 3 losses, 1 draw, 36 years old. Mackenzie Dern, 5'4", 63-inch reach, 13 wins, 4 losses, 30 years old. Amanda Lemos, I mean, she's at the tail end of her career. I'm not saying she's getting worse. I'm saying this is it. It's only going to be a deterioration every time she fights now as she gets beyond 36 years old. She's very powerful. She's pretty good on the ground. She's got some good submissions. She doesn't want to be on the ground. She wants to be on the feet. She can get up. She can be controlled on the ground by a really good grappler, as shown by the champ. The champ got her to the ground. The champ was beating her up on the ground. She tried some submissions, some good submissions, so she's good off her back. Only the high-level opponents are going to be able to keep Lemos down for a long time. And Mackenzie Dern could be that person. She is a high-level BJJ, but she has a hard time with the wrestling to get people down. So how is she going to take Lemos down is going to be the question, because Lemos does have good takedown defense. And that's going to be the question. I bet on Dern last time against, what's her name? What's that? What's her name? Oh, I gotta fish around that brain. Andrade. And I bet against Andrade because of how badly she lost against Chesterfield or Blanchfield. And then I expected Dern to do something. And Dern just got beaten up so bad. It was such a disappointing fight. I mean, she was such a big favorite. I had her in a parlay. She totally messed everything up. Don't like Dern. Not happy with Dern. Want to fade Dern. So I'm a little biased maybe in this. But yeah, I mean, if Andrade can do that, I think Lemos can beat the crap out of her too. Dern doesn't have good takedowns. If she gets on top, she is going to be a problem. Lemos got good takedown defense. She's got some good subs. I hope she's not going for a sub and losing position, because that's how she can lose her fight. She just has to stay on the ground and put some pressure on Dern and beat the hell out of her. So Lemos is going to be the pick. I don't think she's too old yet. Dern, big disappointment on the feet. Yeah, I just can't bet on her after that. That was terrible. That was a terrible performance on Dern. Who knows? Maybe she'll come back and change it up, but I don't think so. Lemos is going to be very powerful and is going to tag her up and maybe knock her out. End of story. So, on the back of this. All right, main card. First fight of the main card, Anthony Hernandez versus Roman Kopylov. Anthony Hernandez, 6 feet tall, 75-inch reach, 11 wins, 2 losses, 30 years old. Roman Kopylov, 6 feet tall, 75-inch reach, 12 wins, 2 losses, 32 years old. These guys are virtually mirror images of each other, except Fluffy's kind of softer. I like Roman Kopylov. I'm a fan of him, so I might be a little biased on this, but looking at the fights, when I first saw them, I immediately thought Hernandez is going to be able to take this to the ground. He's an excellent wrestler, and he's a decent striker on the feet. He can land. He's fairly durable on the feet. Once he gets on top, he's got a great gas tank, man. The guy can keep taking you down, rocking you back and forth, controlling you, wearing you down, he just wears everybody out. He's so good at it. Excellent gas tank, good wrestler, decent striker, pretty tough guy. What's not to like? So my first impression was Hernandez. Roman Kopylov. He had problems with being taken down couple of years ago, and he hasn't fought a really good wrestler since then. I think he fought Duraev, and Duraev was on top, pounding him nonstop, couldn't take him out. Kopylov kept fighting and trying to get up, and he kept getting taken back down. He didn't quit. So after that, he went to Dagestan, and he kind of hung out there for a couple of years, and now his takedown defense is much better. People are having a hard time taking him down. He actually has taken people down as well. He's really been working on his wrestling. So we don't really know how good he is, because he seems like he's nonstop working on his wrestling, because as far as his striking, he is an elite level striker with kicks and punches. He throws powerful, single shots. He has a lot of combinations. He mixes those up. You don't know if it's going to be a combination or a power shot coming in. In the last few fights, he's been able to take guys out. So he's got a lot of things going for him. At first, I was going to pick Hernandez, and after looking at Hernandez's some of his fights, and everyone's they bring up, the fight against what's the guy who would knee him to the body? Who's actually a high level striker as well? What's his name? What? I'm blanking out. Blanking out. Who would need him to the body? Let me just check this out here. I wonder if I gotta think about it before I get to that. No, that's it. What? Okay. We're almost there. Are we there? Holland. Sorry, I had to do it. I had to find out. Anyways, he looked really good against Park. Even though Park is really good on the ground. This was a few years ago, though. Park is getting better. He fought against Holland, and he got hurt right off the bat with a big knee. Holland, very tall, lanky, very powerful. But then again, so is Kopylov, and he goes to the body. And now the fight that I really, really, really found interesting was Shabazian. Now, the first round against Hernandez, Shabazian not beat the crap out of him, but he was beaten up Fluffy. I was surprised at how well Shabazian did, and just how hard of a time Fluffy had to take Shabazian down, who had good takedown defense, and how much Shabazian was hurting with just strikes Hernandez, and he was not reacting well to it. Everybody's saying that Shabazian's a really powerful striker, and he might be, although he's never done really well. It always seems like his gas tank wears out. Now you're dealing with another guy who's actually a really powerful striker. Now, I don't know if Shabazian's more powerful than Kopylov. I think Kopylov's probably equivalent. And he's got a pretty good gas tank. He's got good takedown defense. So if Shabazian could have done what he did in the first round against Fluffy in the second round, now was it Shabazian wearing down, or was Hernandez just going to keep putting the pace on him until he wears everybody down? That's going to be the question we're going to find out. But I don't like how he was reacting to Shabazian's attack in the first round. And even though he looks really durable, he was getting hurt by these shots. And that wasn't a good look for me. So I'm going to go with Kopylov. I think he can do what Shabazian did, only he can do it over 3 rounds. He just has to stay on the feet and not get Shabazian with that, kind of on your back when you're on all fours and you're kind of rocking you back and forth looking for positions and stuff like that. So as long as Roman Kopylov can keep this on the feet, which I think he can for at least 2 rounds, I think he can win this. He can either win it by KO or by decision. Now, if he goes to a decision, I'd be more worried just because he's going to be wearing out, and Hernandez has got this amazing pace. But I'm going to go with Kopylov. He is the underdog. After seeing what Shabazian did in the first round, I'm thinking Kopylov could do the same thing. As long as Kopylov doesn't wear out. And then, I think he can do this. Let's moving on. Merab Dvalishvili versus Henry Cejudo. Merab Dvalishvili, 5'6", 68 inches, 16 wins, 4 losses, 33 years old. Henry Cejudo, 5'4", 64 inches, 16 wins, 3 losses, 37 years old. I like Henry Cejudo. I bet on Henry Cejudo when he fought Sterling. And it was a close decision. I was hoping Cejudo would win it. No complaints about the decision. I think, was it a split decision? It was a split decision. It could have gone to Cejudo. It's very close. And now that was a fight that he took after he took a long layoff. He's 37 years old now. This is another fight. So he is not waiting as long this time to fight. So I think he'll be more prepared. But I think Merab Dvalishvili is a better fighter than Sterling. He uses his pace as a weapon. So he has great cardio. He can keep taking you down. Henry Cejudo is a phenomenal wrestler as well. But I don't think it's going to matter, because I think Henry Cejudo is going to be continually trying to get up. And this is how Dvalishvili wins. And I think if Peter Yan can't beat Dvalishvili, who's similar in height as Cejudo, I don't think Cejudo is going to beat Dvalishvili, because Peter Yan is somewhat dangerous on the feet. Cejudo is a good striker. He's going to have to stay away from Dvalishvili. He does have a path to victory. It's going to be a close fight. It's going to be a close decision. I think Dvalishvili is going to wear him out with the takedowns and just outpoint him and out-grapple him and win a decision. It's not going to be pretty. It's going to be a typical Dvalishvili fight. He's going to continually be at your feet, stiffing your crotch, and taking you down. And Cejudo's going to just have to keep getting back up. And in a few moments, he's going to be up. He's going to have to try land on Dvalishvili. But if Peter Yan couldn't do it, I don't see Cejudo doing it. I think Dvalishvili is a better fighter than Sterling. I think he didn't want to fight Sterling because I think he would beat Sterling as well. So Dvalishvili is going to be the pick. He is the big favorite. I can see why people pick Cejudo. He almost beat Sterling. I think it's going to be the same thing. He's going to almost beat Dvalishvili. But I don't see him being champ. I think he's retired for a reason. He's 37 years old. I think it's Dvalishvili's time to get this title shot. It's not going to be Cejudo. It doesn't make any sense. And if it goes down to a decision, I think Cejudo might get screwed over. So, I'm going to go with Merab on this one. I don't really like Merab. I don't like the way he fights. I'm just not happy with it. But he's going to be the pick. He should do this grinding, and I'll take you down, and to go take you down again. Just when you think I'm going to strike, I'm going to take you down, and it's just so boring. Anyways, he's got a great gas tank. He weaponizes it well. He's going to win decision over Cejudo. Moving on. Jeff Neal versus Ian Gary. Jeff Neal, 5'11", 75-inch reach, 14 wins, 5 losses, 33 years old. Ian Gary, 6'3", 74.5-inch reach, 13 wins, 0 losses, 26 years old. I'm looking for reasons to bet against Gary. Okay, I don't like Gary. He's just a jack off. But every time I bet against him, he wins. So I was looking at the Jeff Neal. Jeff Neal is a great boxer. He actually fought a great fight against Shavkat. Shavkat ended up, he was going to win the decision anyway, but it was a close fight, and Shavkat ended up submitting him just, 30 seconds before the end of the fight or something like that. Ian Gary, don't like the guy, but every time I bet against him, he's getting better and better. He's tall, he's lanky, he's a good striker. He got caught against, what's that guy from China? Was it Yang or Yang? Anyway, he had a flash knockout and he managed to survive. And everyone's like, well, Jeff Neal's a much better boxer and he's going to be able to land a lot more of these. Yes, that's true, because Jeff Neal has a way of getting in on you and doing that. But I think Ian Gary also learned from that. I think he's smarter than that. I think he's not going to go close. And I think even when he was fighting Neil Magny, he just fought him from distance. Just kicked the hell out of him, kicked him. And that's how he fights. And I think this is his path to victory. He's going to stay at range. He's going to stay out of the boxing. He's going to just keep kicking the legs of Neil. He's going to kick into the body, kick into the head, and just stay away from him. That's his path to victory. Jeff Neal on the inside is going to be really tricky, really dangerous, fast hands. And Shavkat, who's very tall, I think he's 6'1" or something like that. Neal was very effective against Shavkat. But Shavkat is not Ian Gary. Shavkat wants to be in the mix, in the grind. He does not fight really that well from distance. Shavkat wants to brawl. He wants to be in it. He wants to be close. He wants to be exchanging punches. He's got a phenomenal chin. He thinks he could take it more than you. And if he's that close, he can grab you, clinch you, and take you to the ground. Now, he had a hard time taking Neal to the ground. Neal's got a pretty good takedown defense. I think Ian Gary's going to have a hard time taking him to the ground. It's going to be Neal's boxing versus Gary's leg kicking and kicking in general. I'm going to go with Gary. I think he fight him from distance. I still got some questions about Neal. I don't like Gary. Don't want to pick Gary. But I think from distance, I've just seen him pick everybody apart. He's just getting better. At 26 years old, he's just getting better. I think Neal is where he's at, and he's very good. This is going to be Gary's biggest test. He's got to stay away from the pocket because he's going to get clipped by Neal. Gary's still durable. He has gotten hit hard, but he's managed to survive. I don't know if he wants to take Neal down. He might. He's been in Brazil working on his BJJ, maybe. The guy is 26 years old. He's still getting better. So I'm going to go with Gary. I think he's going to beat Neal. I think he's going to be at some point challenging these guys for the belt. I think the styles make fights. I think Gary likes fighting from distance with his legs. I think it's going to be a problem for Neal. Neal needs to be closer. Neal's way too short. Going to have a hard time reaching him. Gary is going to be the pick. Co-main event of the evening. Robert Whitaker versus Paul Costa. Robert Whitaker, 6 feet tall, 73.5-inch reach, 25 wins, 7 losses, 33 years old. Paulo Costa, 6'1", 72-inch reach, 14 wins, 2 losses, 32 years old. They're the same age. I think they're both got a lot of experience, and I think Robert Whitaker showed that he slowed down a little bit against Duplessis, and he got KO'd. He just didn't seem really as sharp as he normally does, but I think Duplessis is obviously the best because he's the champion now. So against Duplessis, he looks like he slowed down. And I think he has slowed down a little bit, but I think it looked worse than it had to because Duplessis fights a high pressure kind of fight. And Paulo Costa does fight that fight, He fights a pressure fight, but not at the rate and the speed of Duplessis. And Whitaker needs to be on the outside, skirting around, hitting you. Paul Costa, I don't know if his fight, he hasn't fought like in a year and a half, 2 years. It's been a while since we've seen him in there. He's gonna be about the same size, reach. They're gonna be so. Whitaker's not gonna be shorter, so he's gonna be able to fight him on the outside. Paulo Costa is gonna try clip him on when he closes the distance. When Whitaker closes the distance, that whole Paulo Costa trying to land his big shots. Paulo Costa, he always looks like he's gassed, but he managed to fight through it. He's decent on the ground. He can get back up. Whitaker can't take him to the ground. I think this is going to be a decision fight. Paul Costa needs to knock Whitaker out. I don't think he's going to catch him. I think Whitaker's going to be too fast still. He hasn't slowed down that much. And yeah, this is a winnable fight for Whitaker. Apart from some lucky shot from Costa, Whitaker should win this fight. But you never know, because Paul Costa does have that reputation for a lot of power. He's big in there. I mean, he is the underdog. I'd like to bet Paul Costa for the KO, but I just seen Whitaker go in here with all these up-and-comers and just pushed him back with his boxing and his movement. And after that loss, I think Whitaker is going to be a little more motivated, a little more careful. He has slowed down a little bit, yes. Paul Costa, I think he slowed down as well. So Whitaker's going to be the pick. He is a decent size favorite. You know, I think it should be a little closer than this because Paul Costa does have a path to victory. He's not going to, Whitaker's not going to be able to take him out of there. I think it's going full 3 rounds. You know, and if it doesn't go to the full 3 rounds, Costa's going to be knocking Whitaker out. So that I could see if it doesn't go. But otherwise, I think it's going to the decision. Whitaker's not going to be able to take out Costa. He's a hard guy to put out. And Whitaker, as good as he is, he's not like this one-shot KO guy. He'll just wear you down with his boxing. But he's got to go in and out. He's always got to be careful. So Whitaker's going to be the pick. Moving on to the main event. Oh, let's take a sip. Alexander the Great Volkanovski versus Ilia Topuria. Alexander Volkanovski, 5'6", 71.5-inch reach. 26 wins, 3 losses, 35 years old. Ilia Topuria, 5'7", 69-inch reach, 14 wins, 0 losses, 27 years old. Ilia Topuria, he's a little short in the division, but he's fighting another guy who is the same height as he is. Volkanovski does have a little bit of reach advantage. Ilia Topuria is an inch taller, so they're virtually the same. 27 years old for Ilia Topuria. You know what? I've always bet on him whenever he's fought anyone else, but now he's fighting the champ. I mean, my question is not how good Ilia Topuria is. He's very good. He's beaten everybody. He is undefeated. He's really good. He's a good striker. He's a good boxer. He has a really good chin. We've seen him get clipped and recover. He's a decent wrestler. He has been taken to the ground, but he gets back up. He's usually the guy taking people down, but on the ground, I've seen him get reversed. I think who reversed him? Was it Thug Nasty? Was it Thug Nasty? Was it Thug Nasty? Oops. Yeah, Bryce Mitchell took him down. You know, Ilia Topuria likes to stand on the feet and strike, and I think that's where he's going to want to be. He can. He's a good wrestler. He can take people down. He was doing it to Josh Emmett. He got taken down as well. Yeah, so going back to Volkanovski, I think it's his fight to lose. He's 35 years old. He's not over the hill. He's at that age where this is it. You know, he's only got one more, 2 more years, and he's going to start to slip. My concern is 2 of those losses were to a guy in a bigger weight class at 155. And the last fight in particular, he took on short notice. He wasn't ready. He went in there. He didn't look good physically. He didn't look big enough. He didn't look strong enough. And I don't think he should have taken that fight. I don't think it was good for him physically and for his career, because he took a bad head kick. He got knocked down and he started to recover. And the worst part is when Makhachev jumped on him, is how many strikes Makhachev punched him to the back of the head, and the ref didn't do nothing. I just, ref kept warning him. Ref should have stopped the fight and said, hold on a second, you just hit the guy in the back of the head how many times? But instead, he let him continue, and then he stopped the fight because, well, Volkanovski wasn't getting up, but he got hit in the back of the head at least 3 or 4 times. Like, he just got hit in the back of the head, side of the head, back of the head, by big shots. And that was only 3 months ago. That's the only thing that concerns me here, is how has Volkanovski recovered? I know he's back, he's really confident, he's really good, but how has he recovered? That's what's concerning me. If it wasn't for that, I wouldn't even be talking a lot about this fight, because I think Volkanovski beats this guy. I think he can outstrike him from the outside. I think he's got good feints. He's got a great jab. If he could outstrike Holloway, he can outstrike Topuria. Topuria does have the bigger power, and he's explosive. But as far as striking, Holloway's a better striker. Volkanovski outstruck Holloway. This is what's going to happen here. He just got to not be landed on. And normally Volkanovski gets landed on, and he has a really good chin. That's my question now, is how has he recovered after that head kick and all those punches to the back of the head? Now, if this was 6 months ago, okay, but it's not. It's only 3 months ago. I'm surprised they let him fight this soon. But he could very well have recovered. We don't know, but those are the question marks. That's my only question mark. I think Volkanovski is good enough to take Topuria down. I think Volkanovski on top is very dangerous. I'm not saying that Topuria is going to be easy to take down. I think Volkanovski can mix it up and win some rounds by taking him down. I think Volkanovski is going to be good on the outside. Topuria is going to be very dangerous in the first 3 rounds. I think Volkanovski is going to get stronger as the fight goes on. Volkanovski has fought many 5-round fights, and he just got an unbelievable gas tank. So does Topuria, but I think Volkanovski is going to be able to outlast him. He's going to be the faster guy in there. Maybe not more powerful striker. Topuria might be that guy. Volkanovski has a good chin. And this is where that question is. If it was the same chin as before Makhachev, yes. So that's my only question mark. I think Volkanovski wins this fight. I think Topuria is a good fighter. I think he's going to lose this fight. And Volkanovski is a phenomenal fighter. I'm a fan of Volkanovski. He is a Macedonian brother, so I'm not going to really go against him, but I think he's going to win this fight, apart from the issue with him getting KO'd. So 3 months ago, and it was a head kick and then back of the head punches. That's my only concern. If he's as durable as he was before that, he's going to win this fight. Topuria has been landed on, has almost been KO'd. This was a while ago, but I'm saying is he's susceptible to something like that. He's not perfect. He has been taken down, and I think he's fighting the best guy right now. And if Volkanovski is back and he's recovered from that KO, Volkanovski is too good everywhere. He's going to win this fight, and it's a pick'em. So I don't know. I would go Volkanovski. Like I said, my only question mark is the KO. If it wasn't for that KO, if he didn't take that fight on short notice, we would have a completely different view of this fight. And I don't think it would be a pick'em. I'm glad it's a pick'em, but my concern is that. Let's look at the board. So, How's that board look? Nice and clean. All right. Again, not financial advice. Bet only what you're willing to lose. This is basically my picks, my opinion of most confident to least confident. Now, you can do your own research and take whatever you need from this board, bet individually, bet in a certain amount of parlays, you know, whatever you like. And yeah, and you're gonna have to make your own decision on this. So there's a few lines that I have not made. Here, I'm gonna add them here. Which certain parlays that I did where my cutoffs were, right? So I had a few that run longer and a few that run shorter. So I had a few spots that I would cut them off, and you know, I mean, you could take sections of this and add them to different sections. And again, this is my opinion, and you got to kind of match it up with what you think. Some of it might work, it might not. Nevertheless, oh, we got a little bit of sunshine now. Anyways, top pick Nakamura at minus 1300, and I've got an arrow here to Vera. He's at plus 750. Now, he's got a path to victory. There's no point in betting or putting Nakamura in any parlays at minus 1300, but he is the most confident. He should definitely win. This is a fight made just for him. This guy, believe it or not, as much as I've seen fights like this guy actually has a path to victory. And you know what? There is a possibility that he could get lucky and grab this guy and submit him. So, in a small parlay, I actually threw Vera just because of the multiplying effect that he had on that tiny parlay with these guys. So, I mean, that's a totally degenerate parlay. I did it just, it's a small amount of money, but the compounding effect was good, and it makes it just more interesting to watch. Nevertheless, Nakamura, high degree of confidence, he should win, not bettable. Moving on, Whitaker, high degree of confidence. He is a decent sized favorite. He should win this from the outside and beat Paulo Costa. He just got to stay away from the power and not get KO'd. He's a far better boxer. He's got better movement. Costa's going to have a hard time fighting him. But he will be putting a lot of pressure on Whitaker. Whitaker's got a good gas tank. This is not the first time it's happened to him. He's only lost against champions. Period. He lost against Adesanya, champion. He lost against Duplessis, who's the current champion. So this guy is good. Paulo Costa had his opportunities. Paulo Costa is not championship material. He's good. Whitaker is probably one step little better than that. Moving on, Gary. Gary could be a future contender. I think Jeff Neal's dangerous. And apart from Jeff Neal catching him and knocking him out, Gary's going to win this fight by decision. He's going to be kicking him from range, maybe taking him down or trying to take him down, grinding him up against the fence and stuff like that. Gary should win this from range. Moving on, Dvalishvili. Dvalishvili, I'd like to bet against him. I don't like his style, but the guy's going to keep coming and keep coming. And as much as I bet on Cejudo last time, I think he's going to win a really greasy, grindy decision. And it's not going to be pretty, and he's going to win the decision, and it's going to suck. So, anyways, he's going to be the pick. I'm not a big fan of Dvalishvili. Moving on, Volkanovski, high degree of confidence. Apart from the KO, which I'm concerned about because it only happened 3 months ago, Volkanovski beats Topuria everywhere. And Volkanovski is the champ for a reason. He's fought everybody. And every time people see him fight, they can't believe how deep this guy can dig. And the only question I have is the head kick and the hit in the back of the head. Now, if that's not an issue, he's going to win this fight. It's going to be a 5-round fight. He's going to go 5 full rounds. He should be able to win this fight. Lemos, how can I bet against for Dern? Dern looked absolutely terrible against the power puncher last time. Expecting the same thing from Lemos, who's a power puncher. Lee, you know what? I don't know why people have, mind you, I bet on Maverick one time, and that was the last time. Mind you, actually, no, I bet against her, and I lost. No, I bet for her, I lost, and I bet for on her. Sorry, I bet on her and lost, and bet on her and won. But she's overrated. Lee has fought the top people in this division. I don't think she's over the hill. I think she's taller, longer. She's going to be a better striker. Yeah. Plus 170, I don't know. I feel good about it. Mid-level. Again, Kopylov. You know, as much as I like Fluffy, and I think Fluffy can beat a lot of guys, I think Fluffy is very susceptible to a really accurate power striker. And Kopylov has shown that his takedown defense is improved, his cardio is improved, and he is a very accurate power striker. Plus 170 again. I got him right in this mid-range. I mean, that's, yeah, got to go with Kopylov on that one. Moving on, Elliott. Elliott might be in a higher level of confidence. He's at minus 290, which is absolutely overkill on his and for him. But he's fought in Woodburn, and again, we don't know anything about Woodburn. Woodburn, I mean, we don't even know. So that's why he's at the low end of confidence. I know Elliott's beaten the guy on the Contender Series that is actually a really good level, probably UFC level or a low-level UFC level in Brito. So I know he's good. Woodburn, we have no idea about. So he's low-level confidence. I think Elliott's going to be able to win this. Ming Yang, this guy's got a granite chin. And that's going to be the difference in this fight. They're both going to land. It's going to be a first-round KO. I think Ming Yang's going to eat the shots better. Should win this. He's a small favorite. It's actually dropped. I think it's minus 138 or something like that now. So it actually went down to be more of a pick'em, which is probably a better. I mean, that's where it should be. It should be closer. He's too heavily favored for a new guy, and the other guy's a new guy, but just it'll be close. It'll be somebody by KO, probably Ming Yang. Barlow, minus 190. I mean, I haven't been able to bet on, what's his name? Quinlan? Yeah, on Josh Quinlan. I haven't been able to bet on him right. You know, every time I bet on him, he loses, and every time I bet against him, he wins. Barlow has got the same fighting style as the last guy. Really long, really tall, long reach, and I think he's going to have the same issue with Barlow. De Lima. You know, if this was De Lima before the KO and maybe a couple years ago, it'd be an easy pick, but it's a low-level confidence pick because we don't know how he's recovered after that KO from Lewis, and he is getting up there in age. Those are the question marks. His durability, how much he's got left, and his age. Other than that, he's a better fighter than Tafa. But it's low-level confidence because Tafa is young, he is getting better, he can still catch De Lima, and you never know what can happen. He's got fast hands. And he hasn't been taken down. We'll see if De Lima can take him down. He should be able to because De Lima has taken down much higher level of opponents with better takedown defense. Well, we don't know if it's better takedown defense, but higher level of opponents. We'll see. Maybe Tafa's that elite level takedown defense as well. But De Lima is going to be the pick on this one. And like I said, I made some of these lines just of where I would possibly cut this off. When it gets down here, I mean, these are so iffy. I got a line in between them. So, yeah. That's it for that. Come on. Get straight. So that's it. Let's see what happens. UFC 298, I'm feeling good about it. You know, definitely had a rough ride for the last three. I mean, the last one was, we were over 500, which was amazing considering how bad everything else was. I mean, yeah, not very happy with it. But I mean, it was a bad run. You know, definitely don't like it. I don't like that feeling. But this is feeling pretty good. It's gonna probably turn around this one, and I would say, yeah, feeling good about it. Other than that, knock on wood, Thank you very much for joining me. If you like the content, hit like. You know what? Feel free to comment. Let me know what you think. I've got my picks up there. Tell me who you agree with, who you're doubting, that maybe I'm not looking at it the right way for certain fights. Tell me who you like. Love to hear in the comments. Also, hit subscribe if you want to subscribe, and you get notifications when the next podcast or next video will come out. And yeah, so next time we'll see each other is after these fights. We'll do the recap, and hopefully we'll be high-fiving each other through the internet, because we just hit the 12-fight parlay. Good luck, everybody. Thank you very much for joining me again, and we will see you next week.